So for this vlog, it was definitely more difficult for me to do than the other vlog responses because I'm not a comment section person. I personally don't like looking in comment sections or replying in comment sections, positive or negative. I'm just really not about the comment life. So I ended up responding to a Trump a Trump discussion board that was ultimately just a group of people saying that Black people were to blame for their own problems and that we should stop still acting as if we're slaves in society and the usual ignorant banter. So it was actually very difficult to not, for me personally, to not go into the whole splaining, well, actually mode in this response. It took me a lot to not do that and to just say things in a matter of fact way and just present the fact. But I decided to just go from an approach where I would present the I thought it was important for my response not to be like an advocate and say racism this, racism that, but just for them for people who have that type of mentality to try to empathize, and to understand what it feels like to be a part of a culture that has literally been systematically oppressed for centuries and has gone through mass incarceration, other gross atrocities that has happened, let alone feeling victimized about something as trivial as your physical appearance down to, certain rights that are granted as an American. So I just thought it's important for people to understand that, coming from you should come from a more empathetic side especially if you're on the side that has historically not had to even think about your rights or your appearance as a person. And I think the response that I got actually surprised me. I was actually very nervous to hit the submit button. The response actually, it really surprised me because it may have been slightly sarcastic, but the response wasn't like super overtly racist or mean, I guess you can say. I just expected a mean comment back, I guess. But it wasn't mean. It was just, asking questions, really. Before this assignment, I did not think that commenting could increase civic engagement or increase civic awareness. I think I still, to some degree, do not believe that it does. I think that there were certain people who are willing to have a conversation, but for the majority, to be honest, I don't think it ever usually. I think it usually results in a more back and forth way. But also maybe if I approach the assignment in a more passionate way, I would have got a different response. So it could also just be the way in which you are responding. And I definitely do feel a desire to respond again because I think it is important for people to understand and to have empathy, try to have empathy. I think it's important to have comments, if you're going to comment, to give the full angle of what's going on with an issue. But the comment section also breeds hatred and ignorance. So yes, you can try to educate those that are ignorant, but unfortunately, just sometimes for me personally, I think it leads to more of a back and forth nature just because of the idea of the fact that you're behind a screen doing it. I think that, to be honest, if you had a conversation in person, it would be more productive than behind the screen, because I think, quite frankly, people get more bold when they're behind a screen commenting. So that was my experience. So thanks.